Another beautiful day in Taiwan and another day to meet another British coach. And today I went to meet Pete Lewry next to the Taipei 101 building, which at one point was one of the tallest buildings in the world, standing at 508 meters. A great setting to meet one of my old players when I was coaching Taiwan, though now he's a goalkeeping coach for the Taiwan National Team under 14s. Today I'm with Pete Lewry, who is a goalkeeper coach here in Taiwan. He's one of my old goalkeepers from my coaching days in Taiwan as well. Pete, thanks for joining us, mate, in beautiful Taipei, beautiful weather again. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Matt. How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you. Good to be back. Good to see you again. It's been a few years.
It's been a while. You've been Philippines and China, moving around.
Ghana as well.
I forgot about that.
Bit of Ghana. I couldn't remember if what terms we left on, because some players maybe we left on, oh, you're a dickhead, I'm a wanker. I never know if I've left them on good terms or not, but I guess we're okay, right?
I think we're mutual dickheads.
Probably. I'm used to people calling me one anyway. First of all, Pete, just tell us coaching, what you're doing now. What coaching are you doing here in Taiwan?
So right now, in terms of Taiwan, I work for the CTFA, the National FA, as the goalkeeper coach for their young under 14 development team. So that is a project that's going to last 3 years. So we take them from now to 2023 into the Asian under 17 championships. So I work for CTFA on that. I'm actually any time now I'm going to be opening Taiwan's only goalkeeping academy.
Nice.
And apart from that, I do coach for multiple places in Taiwan. So it's I don't know, I've really thrown myself into coaching here in the last year, and it's been awesome.
That is awesome. So really is it just for U14s for the national team, the CTFA?
For now it is, yeah. A lot of the time in Taiwan we had this little issue of like coaches would get a job and they'd pick players they know. Yeah. And so we decided that we weren't going to do that. We want to do first off for the under 14s. For the first time they decided to hire a foreign coach. Yeah. Well, I think it was one before. And most of the coaches are foreigners. There's a mix of foreigners and Taiwanese. And Robert, I can't pronounce it. Robert,
Polish Rob.
He is a head coach. He just completed his UEFA. Yeah. And so he's taken over as head coach, and he's got his philosophy and his idea.
And he's kind of running the project through with you guys.
Yeah, and what we decided was we've got to be more. We got to scout more. We got to get out there, and we got to be more of this is us, and this is what we do. Yeah. Find players. So in October we had an open trial in Taipei.
How many turned up?
What do you think?
I reckon you got probably a couple of hundred.
180.
Really?
180, yeah.
Was it across one day or different?
It was across
days?
One very hot day.
Oh,
it was about 40 degrees. Back to back. It was
180 kids in that specific age group all turned up.
Well, yeah, no, it was awesome. We saw some fantastic kids, and that lie that you get told that Taiwan's not a football country. Yeah. Blew that out of the water. I had 18 goalkeepers.
Really?
18 goalkeepers, and that was just the north. That was just the north.
Now that's really interesting, because not only is this something which Taiwan hasn't seen before, that there's an actual effort to create some kind of organised age group and development. Yeah. And I've seen the work you guys are doing, and you are, like you said, actually going out, you're putting on sessions, you're putting on workshops, you're spotting talent. Yeah. And this is something what needs to be done across the board as well.
Of course.
And it's only because you guys, I know, have been here for years and you're actually passionate about it as well, that the CTFA are lucky to have you, and it's enabled to continue like this.
It's fantastic. It's what I've learned, like getting out there into that more, I find there's a little bit of a problem in Taiwan, and I'm sure it happens in many countries. It must happen in China, where you get like an expat football scene, and even expat coach football scene, and then this local football scene, and like before I was in this area, and this area is completely, I have no idea.
Yeah, they're not connected, right?
Yeah,
they're separated from each other.
And maybe all the coaches in here look at those coaches thinking, oh, what do they know? And all these coaches are like, well, what
instead of working together.
And now I've gone over here, I'm seeing I've got some fantastic coaches in Taiwan.
Yeah.
There's some fantastic, people involved in sport here. We just have to get out, we have to meet them, and we have to share.
Yeah.
And now that's happening. It's like football in Taiwan for me has gone for this thing where it's like everyone's complaining and going, oh, we haven't got it. It's going, no, let's build something. We can really do something. To have 180 kids come out for a trial was Louis Lancaster came out, and he's head coach, and came out and said some words, and he said to me, like, imagine you could do this every Sunday.
No, for sure.
I dropped dead.
Yeah.
180 kids every Sunday. I don't think I could cope with that, but it was awesome.
But that shows it, and that's the catalyst. I know Louis not with us here in Taiwan anymore, but he was on the ground, him and Jamie, and they were active. They was active in the football community and also trying to get things started like this. And obviously he's not in place now, but hopefully you guys can continue with it.
Yeah,
I think Rob should take on board some kind of technical director role and oversee all the age groups with you guys to then progress it through the age groups as well.
There is a technical director for the CTFA.
There's already one, right?
I met him the other week.
Is he a foreigner?
Taiwanese guy. I haven't had a chance to speak to him too much, but we had a meeting with the CTFA last week.
Yeah.
And what he said had made a lot of sense, and I liked some of his observations. I was like, they're pretty spot on observations in terms of what you want to hear, how we're going to implement them, how we're going to go from talking to actually doing is going to be a different issue.
So let's go into a bit of actual coaching, what you're doing now. So are you working with some outfield players as well, or are you just focusing more on the goalkeepers?
In terms of now, I wanna focus more on goalkeeping. I coach a team in the BMO, like I suppose you call it Taiwan's unofficial second division.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying now, because that's the league we won, right?
So the club I coach in that, second in the league. We beat the league leaders last week, 1-0.
Win's a win.
Football's that game, right?
Senior football. You need 3 points. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So you're helping to coach them. So you got senior coaching there.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the CTFA or the national team kids, I'm going to call them national team kids because they are.
Yeah.
How are you finding the level, the standard, as opposed to what you normally do when you're with some other grassroots academies? What's the difference in the standard in your words?
Taiwan's never had a hero, a real proper footballer breakthrough, and so players are like, oh, I love playing, and I'll practice and I'll practice, but that dream. Sometimes I've had players tell me, I'm like, what's your dream? And they're like, I want to play for Taiwan. And I'm like, and they're not even sure that it's a real thing to do, or professional football's a real thing to do.
So in terms of what you've seen in the actual talent between grassroots and then the national team kids, how big's the difference?
I've seen people, Taiwan's got a lot of pay to play, and within pay to play the level can be massive. So I've seen kids in pay to play who are capable of going to that higher level.
Yeah.
But I've seen in the same team kids who are just not really that interested.
They're just out there for participation, right?
Yeah, well, that's okay. That's fine. But because Taiwan's football scene is so small, the
opportunities are bigger.
They're massive. It's so. When something's not big where you are, it's your chance to build the room, build the ideas, and put everything in. But for me, it was like, I had kids that I've known since they were little got into our squad.
Yeah.
As well. I had a boy who's first met him when he was about 8 years old, and then to see him to go to the national team and he's there as we brought him in. It felt really surreal. It felt
that's what it is, and it comes down to a couple of things. One, yes, Taiwan isn't a great national team, so the gap is closer.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, there's now a pathway for them to actually reach their dreams, and they can become a footballer for the national team.
Yeah.
So without that platform, what you guys are providing them, it wouldn't be possible.
No, I think it's about also just getting out there as a coach and showing players that we care and what we're going to do, and this is our idea. Right now it's difficult. It's a horrible time, like for a lot of people.
Most of the world,
We had our last training camp in November, and we've been.
How many was at the training camp?
We had 26 players, 3 goalkeepers, 26 amazing young people.
So were they the hand-picked select from all the practice days?
We had practice days. We went and scouted leagues, competitions, local leagues, junior high school leagues. Recommendations, obviously, as coaches maybe in an area who we trust and respect, gave us some good recommendations. And what we found we picked a group of, obviously we're not going to keep the same players all the time. We're going to constantly be looking for new players. But we shortlisted 76 players in Taiwan who we're like, this guy's really good. Obviously, there's players
potential to develop.
Good standing, great attitudes, players that we can really work with. And out of that, we picked 26 to go to training camp. So I had 8 goalkeepers and picked 3. The next 5, we're still in contact with. We're still trying to get to know them. Also, at that
keeping
age,
them involved,
trying to get to know their parents. And parental support is a really huge thing for a kid. If you're like, I don't know, I did a session last week. 2 keepers came from Taiwan, so 2 hours away, to train with me.
Wow!
And one of them said, "I'll come next." He said he'll come again Sunday, and he said, "If you can, he's like, if I can get coaching, if I can work with a goalkeeper coach, I'll travel anywhere."
A really cool thing that you just said is even the ones what didn't make it into the initial squad of 27 or 24, whatever it was. You're still keeping them involved, keeping in contact with them, because who's to say that they're not going to develop? There's so many kids what are just pushed out, they don't get another opportunity, and that's it, they're forgotten about. Here you've got to keep everyone engaged, because you never know how they're going to progress again in a couple of years.
In terms of the goalkeepers, I've been lucky that I've managed to get in contact with them, and managed to get in contact with their parents, and I've been suggested that I just start training, bring them to training camp. So obviously it's not the easiest thing to do, because it's not an official thing. It's not the thing that
want to really
it's
promote.
Not the really thing I want. The way I got to do it, I don't have a budget for it or anything. But you got to make that sacrifice if you want to get somewhere with something. So what I'm trying to say is, hey, if you can make it to a certain area, we'll set up sessions. We'll build a program for you in the absence of having that national team. And the great thing about that is, instead of bringing 3 guys into camp, I'm seeing who's really determined as well, and who's like, who really wants to do this.
The word you just mentioned there, sacrifice. I'm glad you mentioned it, because I love the word sacrifice, because again, a coach, yourself, are going above and beyond what you really need to do. You don't have to do that, but you're doing that for yourself and for the players, the kids that you're coaching, and that is a sacrifice that coaches need to make. Just one of the sacrifices to get on in the game for themselves and to actually develop others. But
how many people start in football or start in coaching, and they're going, how much is this going to make me?
No, straight away,
It's
the quick gold, and they won't last. It's a hare and a tortoise, right? How much do I get paid for this straight away? Whereas the people who are doing something for lower or free at the beginning will end up making more in the long term. If that's the motivation, if money's your motivation, you're saying, how much do I get paid for that? No, I'm not doing it then. You never do it. You never get going.
No,
it's a wrong intention.
You have to, I don't know, you have to kind of go in and put that sacrifice in. I had a really good job. I was getting paid well. I was coaching on the side. I was getting paid pretty good money. People would be like, it's a good life, and I felt a bit like stagnant. Like it wasn't the right thing for me. Like this career, it was like I could do this forever, and I'm not going to grow, and I'm not going to improve at it. So I decided to move into coaching. I decided to take the coaching and take it further and see what I can do with that. And that's scary. That's a thing. But I decided that's what I had to do. That's something I'm really passionate about. You should follow your passion.
Before you was English teaching, right?
Yeah.
So this is perfect, because again, you may have seen I talked with Luke a couple of weeks ago, Luke
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And like myself, in Taiwan, you're teaching, is you got to make a living, right?
Yeah.
And then you start to follow your passion, and then you start to transfer it, and the balance changes over to concentrate fully on what you really want to do, which is coaching. So it's another perfect example.
Well, I had this good job. I was coaching. I was very comfortable, and I decided I had to push that. I had to push my passions. And I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's not.
Yeah, it's not easy at all.
It's been way harder than I imagined. I had this really naive idea that I would come in, I would get some more coaching jobs, maybe not make as much as I did before, but do good. And then I just came in, and then it was like, oh no, what's this? And I'm grateful for how hard it's been.
Yeah.
I'm so...
Well, it's not easy.
No.
It sounds like the old saying, if it's easy, everyone would do it, but it's literally true. If it was that easy, you would have, just like China, you would have 1 million football coaches here.
Yeah.
And there aren't them opportunities here like there are in other countries, which is why you need to literally grind it out with your bare hands. You need to actually grind that opportunity out yourself, which you're doing.
Yeah, well, you've got to go and make that sacrifice, and you've got to go, all right, what's number one right now? What have I got? Like, is the end goal? You've got to find what's that end goal and how do I get there?
I just want to throw it back, just backtracking a little bit to the players.
Yeah.
What do you think of the actual talent? What are some areas that the players kind of lacking, which probably foreigners don't? And what areas do they progress at?
This has been noticed by a lot of people. Lewry said this to me, the technical director said to me, multiple coaches said to me, Taiwanese players actually, at the higher levels are quite really technically good. And coaches can be real sticklers with technique here.
Yeah.
So you watch players, and I'll watch a player warm up and I'll be like, wow, that guy looks excellent. And then performing under pressure, it doesn't quite happen. And I watched before Taiwan went away to play Jordan. It was a Q8. They lost 9-0.
Wow, they lost.
I watched them in training, and I was like, yeah, these guys look sharp.
Yeah.
I watched the first few minutes of the game, and I was like, well, they look decent. And then it just went, and it's that dealing with pressure and technique under pressure. I find quite an issue that has to be worked on. More game-like experience when we coach. More, make our trainings more game-related. Make them more high intensity. If I'm working on your first touch maybe, and I'm playing you a 2 mile an hour ball, your first touch is going to be great. So why train that way? You've got to train for failures. You've got to train so that it breaks down. So there's a challenge.
This is something really common in Taiwan, in most countries in Southeast and East Asia, China especially, where technically they look great warming up unopposed. So they can do certain unopposed or activities or exercises, and they look great. Now as soon as you put in a little part of opposed or a part where they need to start making their own decisions, that's when they find that they haven't got time on the ball. The decision making suffers, the technique then suffers, because they're not used to making their own decisions. They're being used to being told what to do or following an unopposed routine time after time again. So this is where a lot of foreigners say the same. I know Louis said this as well, and this is why a lot of foreigners, we're brought up to coach kids or players to start making your own decisions on the pitch in training sessions, and this is a big thing across most of Asia as well.
Huge. Like I don't know, like I plan every session as like, how am I going to improve their decision making within this? How am I going to, how is this improving them technically? How is this improving them mentally? How are they making the right decision? How do I maybe guide a decision, or maybe do I let them make a mistake first, so we can see if they're going to improve on themselves then? So
that's one of the challenges. What have been some other challenges you found since starting coaching in Taiwan with the kids?
So before this year I did all my coaching in English. And this year I've started coaching in Chinese.
Okay.
I'm actually, once I get a bit less busy, I'm actually going to look for a football Chinese teacher.
football specific. That's
sometimes
exactly what you need, because you need the real term, or close to terminology as you can get football specific.
Sometimes I've made a few mistakes where I've used the word that I would put to, like you speak a language, it goes into different pockets. Maybe you first learn a language, you get really good at the food, and you can talk about food to the cows come.
No, for sure.
But then football, the words are different, and I found this like a little bit of a difficult thing where I had to do this. I don't know what that word is. I don't know what.
You start replacing it with something what isn't really a football term. It's like an everyday living term, like a direction or something.
Have you ever done any coaching in Chinese?
Yeah.
Do you ever find that it makes you more economical with words?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. And it makes you want to show things a bit more. Yeah. Like you're a bit more like, I'll just show it. I don't want to say it.
Makes a massive difference. Massive difference.
So for me, what I try and do is if it's a quick thing, Chinese. If it's a long point, then maybe I'll use English and have a translator.
And you've lived here a few years now, so I'm sure it's not like you just come fresh in from England and you don't know a word of Chinese.
If I had to do that from the start, that would be
that's one of the main issues. One of the main problems. This is why I always try and encourage other coaches to, if you've got an idea that you do want to coach abroad, immerse yourself in the culture even before you get there. Start learning some phrases which you need to learn before you get there, just to have you settle.
I think you get a lot of respect for speaking. Depends on the culture. You get a lot of respect in Taiwan for speaking Chinese.
Of course you do. Even if you make an effort. Even if you make an effort in general. I know if you make an effort and you're working with professional players, an effort isn't good enough because they need specific terms. They need to know what you're saying. But in general, you're accepted a lot easier. Again, someone else who's created their own pathway. You're now coaching from grassroots, some senior players as well, and now national team level, youth national team level as well, which is something a lot of coaches on this planet can't say. You actually can say you're a national team coach. You're perfectly within your own right to say that. So what's next for Pete Lewry?
What's next?
You just registered your own company, right? Just quickly tell us a bit about your goalkeeping company you're going to be starting.
So I decided Taiwan has a lack of goalkeeper coaching.
Big time.
Lack of it is kind of like there's. I'd met a handful of kids who were interested in goalkeeping. And now what I did is I just thought I had all this fear about what if nobody wants this? What if nobody's really interested? What if this is? I know there was a guy who did it a couple of years ago and it wasn't quite.
Didn't really take off.
I don't think I think he did okay, but it wasn't really other priorities. And I thought, you can only try. We'll see what happens. And I decided to open my own Facebook page of just my coaching thing and my ideas and just put some ideas out into the world. And I got a load of feedback off of that. And also going out to watch competitions, I met a load of people who were really interested and loads of goalkeepers. And they were all looking for a place and something that they could share. And so this program went to be this little pipe dream I had, to be in this idea that I had more people than I even thought were really they were looking out for. It's made me realise that there's a lot to improve. There's a lot that I can improve as a coach. And it's made me really I can start this and I can just keep growing this and I can build something that grows and grows and grows and forms a really lovely program for everybody. And
for sure,
I've got
it could be nationally. It could be rolled out nationally.
It will be eventually. I did a session in Kaohsiung a couple of months ago. I'd love to go to Taichung because apparently there's a lot of goalkeepers there.
Right.
We've got Hualien on the east coast of Taiwan, it's a complete hotbed of football. And then we got there's definitely hunger. It's about creating something that is a good program and isn't just a flash in the pan. It's just something that's got to last for.
Well, it will do because you're passionate about it. So that's one of the key components here, which again a lot of people can't provide because they want to start something like this just for money, but you actually care about developing the youth of the country. It makes a massive difference. Even for myself, I'm kind of surprised at the interest level. So really good to hear. And
yeah, I had 27 come up. I said I want, you know, I did 16 spaces. I ended up with 27, and I had a few people who said, I don't think I can take it anymore. Probably if I'd have really pushed it, maybe I got 100.
yeah,
You could never tell.
There you go. So in the future, you may need to be recruiting some more staff for your company. I know someone who can help you with that. So just let me know. Let me know if you need any coaches. Pete, thanks for your time. Been a pleasure talking, mate. Talk again soon.
For sure.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.